Welcome to Beautiful Onion. I'm your host, Andrea Mallard, and I'm so glad you're here. This is where we talk about real life stuff, the messy, the beautiful moments we all go through, especially in midlife. Today's episode is called Peeling the First Layers, and it starts with me and my journey. This podcast is for women like us trying to figure out life, doing big changes like menopause, asking deep questions and rediscovering who we really are. Thinking of life like an onion. Yep, onions. Every layer we peel away holds a story. Some are happy, some are tough, and all of them help us grow. Each week, we'll peel off a new layer, starting with mine. Every episode, I will share a Bible verse that helps guide me. It reminds me that God is still doing new things in my life. And hopefully it can help you feel the same way. This week verse is Isaiah 43:19. And it reads, "Look, now I will do something that is new. It is already beginning to happen. Surely you can recognize it. Yes, I will make a road through the desert. I will make a stream in the wilderness." Isn't that awesome? I'm so thankful for the new layer God is helping me with in my life. Today, I will tell you how Beautiful Onions began, why it matters, and how my own midlife journey inspired it. Well, let's dig into my past, my struggles, and what I'm still learning. Because guess what? Peeling back life layers isn't just something I go through. It's something that we all face. Okay, ready? Let's do this. So, what is Beautiful Onions anyway? Great question. Beautiful Onions is a podcast about becoming the real you, the one underneath all that stuff that life piles on you. You know, those roles, labels we get as we grow up. This show is about peeling those back and finding your true self. Why onions, you ask? Well, onions grow in layers, just like we do. Each layer protects the center, just like our experience shape and protect who we really are. But when onions go through stress, like a cold snap, here in Florida, you know, that's called a bolt. They shoot up a stalk flower too soon. That onion part gets tough and stop growing. So that sounds familiar as we possibly feel that we stop growing during menopause life. That's what menopause can feel like sometimes. Like, wow, what just happened to me? Yeah, this podcast is about those moments, the ones that shake us up, make us pause, and invite us to grow a new way. We're not here to figure out those changes. We're here to welcome them, whether it's about menopause, grief, joy, love, crying, or figuring out who we really are. We're digging deep with within us with honesty, heart, and maybe a little laughter along the way. Let's get into today's episode, peeling the first layer. This is where we're going to kick off our journey together. I'll tell you about my first big layer I've had to peel back in my life. Let's get started. Let's get to peeling. Layer one, the first peel, my roots. All right, let's rewind the clock and go back, way back before I was a mom, a wife, a business owner. I was just a young girl growing up in Bealsville, Florida. And honestly, life hit me hard early. When I was 14, I lost my dad one week in July 1980. Then, the very next weekend, we buried my grandfather, who lived next door. He did not want to live anymore because his oldest son had passed away. That was a big loss, and it shocked me. I have great memories of those foundation years with my father and grandfather. It felt like the ground had been pulled out from under me. And for a while, I didn't understand and I did not feel safe anymore. But life kept going on, and so did I. I did finish high school. I attended college and earned a degree in accounting. I got married in 96 and became a mother 2 years later. I started a business with my husband. I bought real estate property. I worked and I went back to school and earned my master's degree while raising my kids. During middle school and high school years, for my kids, it was tough. I worked and I wore a lot of hats. But somewhere in all of that, I forgot to ask, who am I really? Not as someone's mom, wife, teacher, educator, just me. That's what Beautiful Onions is all about. Taking off those layers to find the real me underneath. I remember doing those formative years before my father passed and how I was raised. I lived in Plant City in a small community in Bealsville, Florida, where 12 free slaves developed the community in 1865. And two of them, 12 men, were my great great grandfather, Mr. Horton and Mr. Stevens. As a child, I attended Antioch Baptist Church about twice a week until I moved to Tampa. I remember those days attending midweek Bible study on Wednesdays and those Sunday morning services, which also include Sunday school, where my grandfather was the Sunday school superintendent. Also, my great grandmother was the pianist of the church, and that is where my spiritual walk began. Some of those years also consist of my dad. When he was living, he built a foundation in me that I can never shake away. My dad gave me the hard work ethics, the grind, all the time. I remember after elementary school, every day we had to come home and pick beans, whatever my grandfather had planted in the fields during that season. My father always tried to get us to clean our rooms before we walk out the house to go to school in the morning, just so we won't have so much to do in the afternoon because we still had to pick that hamper of peas every day. I remember a time when my father's job was going through new contract negotiations and they were trying to get better pay at Slits Malt Liquor. And during this time, he was off for possibly 2 to 3 weeks. He decided to go out and pick oranges and tomatoes in the local agriculture field. One Saturday, we as a family went and picked with him. You know, he was not beneath going to do things to make ends meet. He loved his family. He was a very funny dad, and he had us laughing all the time. He also instilled in me hard work, the joy of learning. Always wanted us to keep moving forward and be great people. While I remember some of these things about my dad, I also remember things about my mom. And she's still living today in Billsville. She keeps us grounded. She taught us family values and lessons that was passed down from generation to generation from her family roots from Gainesville and Jacksonville, Florida. I also remember my grandmother, which is my mom's mother. In her later years, had to come live with my mom when she was in her 80s. I always remember and we laugh about at night when my grandmother goes to sleep, she lays the Bible over her head to keep away or warn away the bad spirits. And I have to say, it helps. While my grandmother's family were very faithful and have long longevity, my grandmother, who lived well into her 90s, and she had several sisters to live to about 99 and one to live to 105. So they definitely are some long living family members and very faithful. That is where I get my spiritual upbringing from. Now, let's move on into my father's death. And he died. That was a moment in my childhood that the memories still hurt today. His death was a moment as a child peeling back my first big layer. It hurts and it shaped me. If you ever felt like your role are only things people see, drop the word layers in the comment. Let's peel some more back together. Layer 2. This layer in my life has to deal with the body story, how it remembers. Let's talk about something that is powerful, our body. This is about the body remembers when we don't say them out loud. Just silent in our mind, our body lets us be aware of the stress it carries, the pain it carries. Sometimes joy, illnesses, stress, pregnancies, all these things we thought our body had released, it still holds on to those. We already moved past. How do our body keep remembering these moments. One of the biggest layers I have to face was suffering breast cancer. That journey was over 18 months ago. Now has changed everything. My body is still healing and it's been teaching me something important. Healing isn't about rushing ahead, it's about slowing down and really listening to what your body is telling you. Also, I have a few more stories that my body has told me over the years, and I love to have some fun. I love to have some fun. One day I was telling a kid in high school, you need to go get out my room, go to your class. And they kept saying, no, no, I want to stay in your room. I said, leave. I need to go ahead on and teach my lesson to the next class. I said, if you don't leave, I had a bottle of water in my hand. I'm going to squirt this water on you. They didn't leave. I had to dash them with the water. I said I was. So I did. They ran out of the room, got some water from the water fountain, and came back. I wasn't paying attention when I opened the door. They threw the water on me. That broke out into a water fountain in the hallway. We were throwing water on each other back and forth, running down the hallway. And then it happened. My feet went in the air. I hit the floor. That cost me 6 weeks of walking on a cane. And to this day, that hip still hurts when it rains. You remember that saying, that is, it's going to rain in the next few days because I could feel my hips starting to hurt. Those days, I was around the age of 19 or 20, going out and wearing outfits that was not appropriate for the weather. But now, yeah, joints in the shoulder, hips, back hurt also. Guaranteed they would come back around and let you know what you did then. So with all those stories down, this layer is about turning in, not turning out. Your body are always talking to us through the aches, pains, and scars. Also, it strengthens us. We just have to pay attention to what your body is telling you. So please listen to your body. So take a deep breath and feel what your body has been carrying, what it is trying to say. We have peeled back the second layer of our body and what our body has told us over the years. Now, this is the third layer, menopause, facing the truth. Okay, let's get real. Menopause isn't just about hot flashes or night sweats. It's like your body threw you into a whole new season of life where you're ready or not. For me, it was more than physical. It was emotional and confusing, like a storm I didn't see coming. A few years ago, while working as a property adjuster, I started having serious emotional breakdowns after I returned to work from breast cancer recovery. I'm talking a full sobbing, like a child that just was denied a snack in a grocery store. Over time, I had 4 major breakdowns, and it all ended with me hiding out in a dark room for several days, feeling lost in my own thoughts. Yeah, I got another story so I can bring you to see how I felt during that time in my life. I have a neighbor named Frederick that has some mental health challenges due to something that happened in his life many years ago. But he walks up and down the street and past my house several times a day on his way to the local store. My dog starts to bark when he hears him coming down the road because he's talking. I jump up and run to the first bedroom window so I can see what's happening outside with Frederick. He always stops and talks to a pole, the light pole, that's right there in front of my house. I sit and listen to Frederick for a few minutes because he normally gets everybody straightened out in his head. It was just him and the pole there. But he talks to Jermaine, Michael, Tito. And he gives them a few words and straighten them out on all the situations that is at task. So after a few minutes, he continues to walk to the next pole. And that's really what I felt like during that last breakdown. I wanted to go out to that pole and talk to it so I can straighten out the people that was in my head. I knew at that time I needed to seek help. I finally saw a doctor. They diagnosed me and she came back and said those words that hit hard. Menopause. Menopause. That one word felt like a heavy label, but it also became a turning point. It wasn't just about hormones. It was about identity. It made me ask, who am I now? What do I want? Can I still dream? This layer is about the truth head on, looking at your sleep, your body, your needs, sanity. And I say, I matter. Because when that last breakdown took place, and I spent those 4 days in that dark room, and I couldn't get those noises to stop talking to me in my head, that time I realized I needed help because I felt I was going crazy. I saw myself outside talking to the pole where Frederick was, and I had to then realize I needed help. And when we get help, we can start to grow again. And you're not alone. So if you need help, go get it because I'll be right here for you. Don't be ashamed. I'm here. Third layer is down. The third layer is off. Peel back. And we're going to keep on moving because we're going to come back to menopause in detail in a later episode. The fourth layer is rediscovering joy. Let's talk about joy, real joy, felt in your bones. You remember how that joy is when you can dance around the kitchen singing a good spiritual song all the way down deep in your bones. You feel the praise of that joy and smiling. Yes, everything is great, happy, and joyful. This layer is about starting over. This is where I am at now. I walked away from jobs, roles, relationships that didn't fit anymore. It was scary, but also freeing. I finally gave myself permission to live on my own terms, not by what other people expected from me. Midlife doesn't have to be about just getting by. It can be about thriving. It's about finding what lights you up, even if things look different than before. It's also about listening to other women's story and realizing, hey, I'm not the only one figuring it out. There's such a freedom in starting over. I love the growth in learning new things. Where I am now, loving life by giving information, enjoying other stories that might not be like mine. But hey, it's their own layer of their beautiful onion. I have recently started new activities. I have a full garden again where I have many okra plants. I have Brussels sprout plants, collard greens, squash, cucumber, tomatoes, many types of herbs in my garden. I have kale. I really enjoy gardening. I light up when I talk about my gardening and seeing it grow. I enjoy the freedom of being outside and having my hands in the sand, the dirt, cleaning my fingernails every day. I enjoy seeing my plants grow. I really enjoy my onions. And that is where I got the name, the Beautiful Onions Podcast. When I was tending my onions and how they represent what I'm at in my life as starting over. I'm also a member of a rare fruit community which deal with growing exotic fruits, passion fruit, jackfruit, all kind of fruits that are not always native to Florida. Also, I have many bonsai plants. I also learned how to craft and shape those beautiful pieces of art, which is beautiful. Also, I enjoy exercising that has benefited my health and mentally and physically. Learning how to meditate. This one was kind of hard because my mind be moving too quick or fast, I should say. And it was hard to stay quiet and stay focused. But I'm learning to manage it. Meditation, great for the soul. One thing I realized, joy isn't talked about enough in middle life. It's not just surviving, it's thriving. Sharing stories and learning how others journey. Sharing stories and learning how others journey goes. This podcast is my way of embracing that freedom. And I believe you can too. We have to rip off the fourth layer of joy and move on to the fifth layer, which is love and partnership. How hold on to your seat. Let's get into the big one. Love. Oh yeah. It's beautiful. It's messy. It's fun. It's hard and everything in between. Love isn't like in the movies where everything's work out in 2 hours. Yeah, really, real love takes work, like real work. You know, I've been with my husband over 35 years and we've been married for over 29 of those. Let me tell you, it has been all but smooth sailing. We fought, we've had hard seasons, moments when we didn't even like each other. Other times, we almost gave up. At one point, we lived in separate homes. Thank God we had invested in properties. We took turns staying with our kids in the main home just to give each other space while still showing up for our children. It wasn't easy, but it gave us room to grow apart and together. And over time, we found our way back to each other, unconditional love. This layer is the real stuff. The laughter, the tears, the late night talks, the compromising, and the growing pains. Love isn't perfect, but when both people show up, do the work, and still wants to share a snack at the end of the day, that's something worth fighting for. Wow, I still think 35 years together, countless memories, and one unshakable bond. Love like this isn't found, it's built day by day and side by side. We almost there. The fifth layer is peeled back, love. Let's move into the sixth layer, which is legacy in the present. When we hear the word legacy, we usually think about what we leaving behind when we're gone. But no, but I've learned that legacy isn't just about the future. It's about right now. It's how we live. It is how we love and how we lead an example every day. I'm so amazed with my daughters, Andrea and Michaela, and my two grandchildren. They watch me. They see how I handle midlife, the good, the bad, the messy, the honest parts. And let's be real. It's not perfect, but I'm doing my best to be real with them. I have many conversations with my daughter explaining my feelings and what I'm going through in this midlife menopause years, how I feel, just trying to give them the insight of how menopause affect you mentally, physically, and emotionally. Raising my girls mean late night study session, cheering them on from the sideline, even helping them with college and stay on my knees praying. I get to watch them build their own lives now. They are kind, strong, and brave. They have also taught me some stuff in these years. They have taught me just as much as I've taught them. This layer is about showing the next generation that it's okay to grow, to change, to share old layers. That's how we build a legacy, one honest moment at a time. If you're helping guide kids through life, you're changing the future. I invite you to share the word patience in the comment because that's what it takes and it's worth it. I have another story to tell you. I got tired of going to endless jobs, very unhappy. I've done many, like accounting, life insurance, mortgage broker, real estate, teacher for over 14 years, but I love the summers off and holidays. Then came COVID. My youngest daughter then was graduating from high school, and yeah, that was it. I had to run through the door. I broke out and ran through the door, never to look back, teaching again. That's what I was thinking. Then the last 5 years, I've been working as an insurance adjuster. Lots of stress. And I was thinking, I need to be working in my purpose. God, please help me. Then God spoke to me and told me to go back and educate. But educate in what is going on in my life now, midlife. And that's what brought me to this point in my life. Feeling like I've in my purpose, feel so comfortable. And that's what I'm teaching my kids in this season in my life. They have to work hard, figure out where their purpose is, and grow in it. The quicker they can do that, the better they'll be. This is the sixth layer and final layer. I have just pulled all six of my layers off and an invitation to you in closing. So here, the heart of a beautiful onion is not about being perfect. It's about being real. It's about peeling back the layers one at a time and finding healing, hope, and maybe laughter along the way. If you're going through menopause, questioning your purpose, or just trying to find joy again, you belong here. This space is for you. Every week, I'll keep sharing my stories and I'll guide you with spiritual scriptures. And soon, I will invite guests to share their layers too. But more than anything, I want to hear from you. Take a few moments and think, who were you before the title? Before you were the mom, the wife, the employee, the caretaker? What did she dream about? What made her laugh? What did she need? This week, I want to challenge you. Write a letter to your young self. Be honest. Be kind. Tell her what you really learned and how far you come. And if you feel like sharing it, email it to me at andrea@beautifulonions.com. With your permission, I might even read it on the future episode. And guess what? A Beautiful Onions community is coming soon. A place where we can support each other, grow together, and keep peeling those layers with love and grace. Following Beautiful Onions on your favorite podcast platform. If today's episode spoke to you, leave a comment, share it with a friend, and let me know what kind of community you would like to be part of. And finally, if you have not hit the subscribe button, please do. We can continue to bring you great content, and also click the share button and send to a friend. Our next week message is Menopause Changed My Life. Stay tuned. Come back. See ya, all you beautiful onions.